Hello, third and fourth grade virtual academy art learners. Today is going to be our project that has to do with value. And in the document, I posted some pictures on there that we're learning a little bit about an artist that I really like because of his simplistic style of his artwork, except we're not going to do it as easy as he did it. We're going to liven it up a little bit and show off your skills. In the document, I talk about an artist named P.A. Mondrian. And P.A. Mondrian was a kind of like a minimalist artist. He didn't use a whole lot of things, but his artworks were very unique, and a lot of people know him just based off of his artworks. And they're very popular in media. There have been shoes and buildings and other products and items that have used his style of artwork to be able to be creative for other items. And this is what we're going to do for our project, is we're going to take a little portion of what he does and we're going to try to recreate it, but put our own little spice to the project as best as we can. Now, there's no part one or part two to this project. You did the worksheets to practice value. We're going to do the whole project here today. All right, so let's get started. Piece of paper is going to be something that you're going to need, obviously. And the next thing that we're going to probably want to have is a ruler. A ruler is fantastic because P.A. Mondrian, as you can see in the pictures that I showed you, he has black lines throughout his artwork, and they are perfectly straight. They're either straight up and down or straight side to side all the time. And in order for him to get those perfect lines, he had items such as rulers or guides to make sure that every line, every black line that he put in there was perfectly straight every time. So a ruler is key. If you don't have a ruler, make sure that you have something that has a straight edge, the edge of a book or something like that. I also suggest have a pencil handy, a black marker, or something dark to write with. Black colored pencil would be okay as well. Now, I trust my skills where I am not going to need to use a pencil to draw these black lines. I'm just going to go right to the Sharpie. But some friends who might not want to go right to the Sharpie, draw all of these lines with pencil first, then go over them with the Sharpie when you're done. The key, though, is that you do want these lines black. Black, not brown, not anything else. You want them black. So make sure that you have a black marker, black colored pencil at the ready for this. And then also colored pencils. Don't use markers. Some of you guys use markers on your practices, your value scale practices. Didn't turn out too well. Marker, no matter how hard or soft you press on the paper, it's the same value all the time. We don't use markers for value whatsoever in the art room, so don't use them here either. I've got my paper set up. Now I want to make those straight black lines. And as you can see with his black lines, they can stretch really short, long, tall, or short as well in two different directions. But the key thing is that the black lines, they either have to touch the edge of your paper or touch another black line. They cannot stop short or just be floating in the middle of nowhere. So let me get started with this one. Okay? Take my ruler. And I don't want to start out by putting my line too close to the edge. All right? I'm going to put it towards the middle a little bit, and I'm going to stretch it all the way across the paper. Now, it might be really hard to figure out, excuse me, if you're going at an angle like this or this. Just use your eyes and do the best guess that you can. This looks fairly straight, so I'm just going to go ahead and do my first black line, top to bottom. Seems pretty simple. Now that's one line. I'm going to switch and go this way. Again, I'm going to hope that it's straight. You can tell if it's angled like this, but if you get it pretty close, this is good enough for me, and it should be good enough for you. All right, so now I have two lines. Now if I want to, I'm just not going to go edge to edge. I'm going to go from line to edge. Now I have a space here. Maybe I want to do another one going here, except make it more narrow. All right. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines so far. I want to add in a lot more. I want well over 20 lines, but probably no more than 30. You're really going to have a lot of areas to color in if you do that. Okay, which some of you might want to do, but I would say around 25 is a good number to have. But I'm going to continue this just to give you some more tips. Flip my ruler this way. I can go here. Simple. Go over here. Here's another one. Go right here. All I did was slide my ruler just a little bit over, and I'm just making these lines. Now maybe I want to do something like this. Connect these two right there. Put this one right there. Now, if you start seeing that you have really large areas like this, that's okay, but that's a big space to color in for the next step, so you might not want to leave something that large. So instead, I'm going to shrink it down just a little bit. Okay? Now I'm gonna do it in something wrong or mistaken right here. Like I said, the lines either have to touch an edge or another black line. This is something you don't want to have. It touches a black line here, but it's not ending at another black line or the edge of the paper. So how can I fix this? Well, I can just finish out the line. If you do that in another spot, like, let's see, I'll put something right here. And then all of a sudden I'll just stop right there. I can actually turn my ruler around and I can add in another line here. Okay, so don't leave floating lines, and most definitely don't do this either. This is not something P.A. Mondrian would do, which is just having a floating line where both ends don't go anywhere. All right, if you see this, make sure that you close out the line, meaning it's got to hit the edge of the paper or hit another black line. I got a great start, except I'm going to want way more than this in there. So I've got a couple examples. This one right here, I have a little post-it note on it. It said it's got 26 vertical and horizontal lines. Vertical and horizontal. All right, 26 is right around that 25. This is a good example. Perfectly straight lines. But let's say you're a little bit more advanced and you want to try something a little bit different. These are vertical, horizontal lines, and I have 26. Maybe you want to do something where they're not just perfectly straight up and down. They're at an angle. You can do this too. They are straight lines, but they're not vertical or horizontal. They're at an angle, like an airplane taking off and an airplane landing. So you could try this as well. This might be a little bit different to look at, and that's okay. I have 24 angled lines. I'm right around 25. That's good to go. Okay? Now, if you're really feeling a little ambitious and want to try something different, you can mix and match and make wavy lines as much as you want. I put something like this. I have wavy lines. I have zigzag lines. I do have straight lines as well. I mixed and matched, but lines touch another black line. Lines touch the edge of the paper. This one, though, I counted, and I'm going to write about 21 curved or angled straight lines. Now, it's above 20 and below 30, but I might want to add in like 2 or 3 more here for myself to get this thing going. Okay? Now, that doesn't seem like a lot. Now, some students are going to ask, can I go above 30? Well, my finished project that I show in the slideshow actually has well over 40 lines to it, almost 50. There it is. Now, as you can see, I have empty spaces in here. P.A. Mondrian did that as well. He did not color in every single space. He actually left some blank because that's what he wanted to do. Now, for us, if you leave too many white spaces, somebody's going to look at it and go, hey, that's not finished. You're missing some spots. So what I want you to do is, if you know that you drew, let's say, 28 lines, what's half of 28? If you do the math, it's 14. So if you draw 28 lines, I want you to color in 14 sections. Now, if I have 46 lines on my paper, what's half of 46? 23. So I would color in 23 sections. Now here's where the value comes in. You're not coloring in these solid. I want to see a light to dark change in the spots you are coloring. No marker, colored pencil or crayon works. All right? So you get to pick and choose where your colors go, though. You can choose. No, one thing you want to stay away from, though, is if I have this one is blue, if I choose to color any ones around it that are sharing a wall, don't color them in blue. I have the same color blue right here, but there's another area in between those two. So please make sure that if you're going to use the same color twice, do not put them right next to each other. Okay? Jump over one section to another one right there, and you should be okay. I want to see value in here. No solid coloring. That means every one of them. So if I did 23 spaces, all 23 have to show value. This is where your practice comes in. All right? So if I were to take the example, I'm going to move these over here. Take the example I was working on before, and I know that I don't have this one done just yet, but I'm going to give you an example about what to do. All right? For the value. Move my ruler out of the way, get my colored pencils. All right? So again, if I drew 20 lines, that means I want to color in 10 sections. If you did 30 lines, you want to color in 15 sections, whatever that half of however many lines that you have. Those of you who know that you're artistic and you know who you are, you want to do more than 30, go ahead. But just remember, that's more coloring and that's more lines. But if you want to give it a shot, I'm all for it. All right? So I am going to take, I'm going to take this magenta right here. I like this color, nice and bright. It's like kind of like a pinkish purple color. And now I'm going to color in this space right here. Now, some of you, again, were coloring in your values on the worksheets, and you were going way outside the lines, or you were only scribbling coloring through the middle and leaving white around there. We want to practice this. So my advice to you is if you notice that you're coloring outside the lines, slow down around the edges. You can color quite quickly through here as long as it's full, but as soon as you get by the edges, go a little bit slower and take your time. Those of you who are just scribble coloring throughout the middle, don't leave white showing. Fill it in. If I'm going to choose to color this in, do not do it just half-hearted. Do it completely full and do the best job that you can. So here I go. Now, I've done value quite a bit, so I'm going to give this a shot and just do it all in one try and go from dark to light, and let's see how it turns out. Okay, very hard here. Now, as you're going to see, I am not going right to the edge of this shape for right now, because I think if I try to get there, I am going to actually mess this up. Ooh, not bad, light to dark, but I see this white space, I got to fill this in. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to find where the value is. And this is really light right here, so I'm going to color in this really lightly to match the value that I already did here. But you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to color in the whole rest of this lightly. I'm going to try something a little different, a different technique. That way at least the whole box has color in it. Now what I just have to do is match the value. Now this part right here looks like it matches pretty well. When you start to get into here, you can see that this is darker than this. So I want to just take my colored pencil and try to match this value right here that I just colored in with the one that's this big main one that I started out with. So I'm just going to go down the line and do the same thing. It's a little bit darker. Now I'm starting to get to quite dark, until I'm really dark right back there. Okay? That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Now I just have to do the matching stuff at the top. So again, really dark here. And look at how slow I'm going on these edges. I really don't want to spill this magenta out into any other spots where there's not supposed to be magenta. All right, and I'm lightening up real light until it gets to this value right here, which is actually quite light. It's almost white, but there's color in there. That's one. Again, if I had 20 lines, I want to color in 10 spaces, and you can choose what you want to do. Now again, if I have magenta here, I don't want to put magenta there, or there. These two share a corner. They don't share a wall, they share a corner. So if I wanted to, I could put magenta there, or I have a lot of colors to choose from. I'm not going to be picky about what I want. Choose whatever colors you want. You want to use black, yellow, gray, brown, red, whatever colors that you want, go for it. Here is the end project. Right there. So you're going to do all of the lines, count them, however many total lines that you have, divide it by 2, and that's how many spaces you color in. Some students are going to ask, can I color in the whole thing? Please do not. Just like my example, I want you to leave some areas blank, just like P.A. Mondrian did. All right? So anybody who says, hey, you're missing some spots, no. Tell them about P.A. Mondrian, show them a picture and describe to him and say, he left spaces white on purpose because it was his choice. But he also did color in a lot of other areas as well. Okay? So again, do the best that you can. The step-by-step should have provided you with everything that you're going to need. Just take your time, and if you make a really bad mistake, start over. It's okay. But again, here are your choices. Very straight lines, just like P.A. Mondrian did. 26 I have here, so you can do anywhere between 20 and 30. You can go over that if you feel advanced and you're good. You can draw them at angles, not straight up and down, angles, plane taking off, plane landing. This is another idea you could do. Or if you're really feeling crazy, you can do some angled lines like this, okay? Remember to do it in black so that way it pops just like P.A. Mondrian's did. And do the best that you can with what you got. But use colored pencils. If you don't have as many colors as, say, I have, you can use multiple colors multiple times. Just make sure that they don't share a wall, and everything will be all right. Do the best that you can. Remember, all of this is now on one document, just one. So you can just take a picture of your end work and add response right to the document. Now, please remember, I've been sending items back to students as well. If I send something back to you, it's because you're missing something or something is wrong in either your upload or you're missing something in your work. I approve everything if it's past my grading scale about what is considered done. All right? So again, work on this. Take your time. Do the best job that you can. I cannot wait to see what this looks like when you guys are done. Be sure to upload it. And good luck and dominate. Rock on, guys.